So this tutorial is going to show you how to do a really quick edit just to bring out some of the details on an object that was photographed on a white surface that is primarily white itself, has a nice cast shadow, but has a fairly white area that just has subtle tones of gray. So we won't even wait, we're just going to jump right in here. So what we're going to do is create a level on top. We're going to change to the brush tool we don't need 100%, but we'll do about 70% opacity. The numbers at the top of your keyboard will control brush opacity, and shift and a number on the top of your keyboard will control flow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. will input 10%, 20%, 30% respectively, and pressing two numbers in sequence, like let's say 56, will create that amount at 56. If we just push 1, it's just the second number. Yes, anyway. So on our second level, we're going to take our brush tool, we're just going to start painting white all around this guy right here. And a lot of people, remember, unless you're using like a Macintosh, Jesus, no one's used that term in a long time, an Apple computer that's within a few years old, or a monitor with a high color gamut, which most people will not be using, you won't really pick up these subtle changes within the gray and the white. It just, you won't see it at all. So yeah, we're going to paint all the way around. And that solves that a little bit. Now we could switch it. Excuse me, you can see the subtle change that we've made here. And we have a little bit of overlap. So then we're just going to go to eraser and we're just going to take that out. Not a big deal at all. Now one thing about things that are metallic is its ability to look really shiny and nice. So while we're in this edit, because it's such an easy one, what we might do is change the contrast just a little bit to really make it stand out. And then one last thing we're going to do, you can see that the way that this is photographed, this image has a little bit of depth of field, with the front of it right here being the sharpest. You can see how it fades out just a little bit at the back. And is that white? Yeah, there's still a little bit of an overlay going on there, so we'll switch back to eraser and just take that out really quick. Okay, so yeah, what we're going to do here is use our sharpen tool just to bring out this edge. Whoops, I am not on the sharpen tool, I'm on the dodge tool. That would explain some things. What this is going to do is just really kind of bring out this corner and really sort of sharpen the contrast between the dark and the light areas on this. Now one last thing that we can do to really nail this guy and bring out, the sharpness of this area right here is go back to the dodge tool, and we're going to want to select the range and change it to highlights. That way it will not touch any of these dark to mid tones right here. It'll more so grab the tones that are primarily light already and bring those out. So we'll just go ahead and start applying it. And we might also want to use it on any other areas of this where we could see a concentration of light. To really make it stand out. And there we go. And just for good measure, maybe. The Gaussian blur is so good. It fixes almost any kind of, how would you say, hardness issue. Just erase this one more time around here to make sure everything is good. And that's about it. There you go. Oh, of course, one last thing. Whenever we're showing products, we want to show it in the best possible composition that we can. So it helps if we crop in. But once again, we also want to preserve this area right here and leave a little bit of space. But of course, being our website, sometimes, you know, well, everything that's on the edge has to be white. That's just the way we work. So once again, we'll come back into here and kind of alter this area. You can talk, Michelle. It's very impromptu, you know. So yeah, when we're dealing with this shadow, we're going to kind of paint it in a way that's sort of, I guess, representative of the shape. That way it kind of gives the illusion that it's, you know, like a fall-off shadow. And of course, we've always have our very fun blur and smudge, which are all part of the same family. And we always check to make sure that when we're combining things, when we're smudging, that the spacing is turned off. If not, we're just going to push the paint around on the canvas. Whoops, that's 100% is clearly too much. So using the keys at the top, we will just bring down the strength of it. And there we go. It's always nice to zoom in and check, make sure there's nothing in there that sort of gives it away as an edit. And oh, here's a nice little surprise. We can actually see a texture on this surface. So by that notion, it's actually good that we approach this the way that we did, because we preserve that sense of reality, which is always the most important and also the most difficult thing when doing these edits. And that's it.